Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monday live stream. We're going to try to get through this. I just talked to Guy and Nick over at Coin Bureau. Apparently, they had their live stream session, and because we both use the same service, which is StreamYard, they've had difficulties moving forward, and I've been experiencing some lag as well. So we'll see how this goes, and then if there's some kind of issue, we'll just have to redo this later on. But this is what is happening in the digital asset market. So just like the thumbnail and title suggest that things are heating up for the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. This is information from Bitcoin Magazine. And they say that just in, Polish president candidate Mencen says that Poland should also keep its currency reserves in Bitcoin. Well, that's not what he really said. What he really said was actually put out by Dennis Porter. Dennis Porter, CEO and co-founder of Satoshi Act Fund. He's the one that's pretty much talking to all these leaders in political parties, congressmen and women, and talking about the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. And this is from, it was a back and forth between two political figures. Mencen is president of Poland, and Lech, I believe he's some politician as well. And it was translated, what the actual representation was this: the draft bill on the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve is available for use. There's no point in waiting. Instead of passing a nonsense bill on crypto assets, this should go first before it's too late. Will the president Mencen seek to create a strategic reserve in Poland? And he said, oczywiście, which is apparently the translation is of course. So it's not like he came out and said, like, okay, we're going to put this together. This is what it is. This is just him publicly saying, yes, we can move forward. And obviously we're going to do this, or of course we're going to do this. Why wouldn't we do this? But it is a strong statement from a large political figure to come out and say, yes, we're going to have a strategic reserve. So there is that piece. And then as I was perusing through the Twitter, as I like to do sometimes, even though X can be quite a dangerous place, Bram Kristen said, a little birdie told me something about Slovenia too today. And Dennis Porter said, yeah, a little birdie DM'd me. So maybe it's Slovenia and Poland and, of course, United States getting behind it. So we'll see what it is. And not to be outdone, Senator Lummis from Wyoming states that we should convert all of our gold reserves in the world into Bitcoin. And I'm sure if, like, I own gold and silver, that would not be a good thing for my price action for gold. It'd be great for my Bitcoin. I think it would outperform. And I think most of you would agree that, yeah, let's do it. But she is not to be outdone. And she says, look, let's do this. So the United States government, I didn't know this, has the biggest, well, I knew they had the biggest gold reserves in the world, but I didn't know how much it was. It's 8,000 tons of the precious metal on its balance sheet. And what Lummis said is, if we convert gold certificates held by the US Treasury into Bitcoin, the immediate effect on the US government's balance sheet would remain neutral, as opposed to spending about $90 billion to purchase the Bitcoin at current market prices. Look, I think that's the whole reason for OTC, and I'm assuming that the United States government would have that option and would hopefully, well, if they were smart enough, they'd do like a MicroStrategy, which would be like they would just slowly buy. But the U.S. government, so everything has to be as transparent. I'm just kidding. They're not that transparent, but let's hope that they are a little bit transparent and said, yes, we're buying. If that's the case, the price will go up. They'll have to pay more. So they're getting quite of a quandary, quite actually, if you think about it, because if they talk about, yes, strategic reserve, here it comes, and then all of a sudden they're buying Bitcoin at 90,000 and it shoots to 120 and then 150 and then 200,000, that's not great for them because they have to pay so much more. So I guess what Lummis is essentially saying is like, look, let's not beat around the bush. We know what we're going to do. Let's just take this part here, these huge assets, and just roll them over to Bitcoin. I got to tell you, all at once, that would be something to see, and I would be quite impressed. But I had to take a look at that and see, well, how much is that? What is that worth? And apparently, the United States Treasury holds approximately 261 million troy ounces, which, again, this was the 8,000 tons. If you do the conversion, it's like 8.1 something tons or something like that, which is valued at around $485 billion based on current market prices. So roughly $500 billion. Okay, so imagine this. You take 800 tons and you convert that $500 billion and you stick that into Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, for its market cap, let's see if it has it here. Hold on. That's not what I want. I want to say it's 1.6 trillion. Excuse me, 1.8 trillion. 1.8 trillion is the market cap. If you take half a trillion, you take $500 billion worth and just stick it all into Bitcoin, what does that do for the price? And then that's just on the United States side. Let's just say that, I mean, corporations are trying to front run nations. Nations are trying to front run each other. Now the game theory plays out and things just go unbelievable. So if this is all true and it all works out, that's great. And then as a reminder, my favorite graphic representation of how much money is just sloshing around out there. This is from 2022. It's the best thing I can find. If you've got something else, please share it with me in the comments section. But this is just like I say, a graphic representation of what everything is worth. Because this states here, this is in 2022, that the world's gold reserve is 11.5 trillion. That's incorrect. It's actually $18 trillion. Now, obviously, the price of gold has gone up over the last 2 years, but this is incorrect. So let's just say we got 18 trillion, and we take half a trillion. That's a lot of money. We could really be doing something. There could be a lot of big plays, but that's not it. Balance sheet of central banks are 28 trillion. And as a reminder, I found this out from Guy over at Coin Bureau. As of January 1st, 2025, central banks are allowed to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets. Don't know if you knew that, because they're not allowed to do that right now. But if they do that moving forward, that's big time. And they're going to be legally allowed to do that as of January 1st, 2025. S&P 500 is 36 trillion, and we see that being siphoned out of the traditional equities markets, and they're going into crypto. Not as much as I think it should. I think there should be more, but that's just me being totally biased. Money supply is 48 trillion. New York Stock Exchange, what is this? Well, this has got to be 89 trillion, somewhere around there. Correct me in the comments. Global debt is 300 trillion. Where's my favorite? Real estate, $326 trillion. A lot of that is tied up in China, and China is under a collapse. I mean, not total collapse, but the real estate market is having quite a go at it. So if that could be converted 10%, yeah, okay. I'll take $3 trillion into Bitcoin and or crypto. Global wealth, 463 trillion, then derivatives, 12.4 trillion. So, and that's options, swaps, warrants, futures, and forward contracts and stuff like that. So that's where I think all the money is going into. People say we don't have enough liquidity. I think we do have enough liquidity. It just kind of stuck in certain areas. And if you're going to think about real world assets and take real estate, why not that be the thing? So again, I think you're in the right place at the right time, but just take a look at this. This is how far, this is coingolive.com, coingolive.com. And it shows you the percent or how far away something is from its all-time high. And Bitcoin, number one, which has the largest market cap, which is hard to move, I might add. That's a lot of money moving into it. It's only 2% away from its all-time high. 2%. And it seems like that is inevitable to happen this month, to keep going up to potentially, who knows? I'm not going to give you an estimate because I'm just guessing. Solana is only, look at that, is only 7% away, 13% from BNB. So some alts are running, some are laggards. Looking at you, Cardano, but I know you've made some pretty big plays. Dogecoin, also at 50%, but had a massive run lately. So I just think that we haven't seen anything with altcoins yet. Look at all this red. It's a lot of red. I still think there's a lot of ways to go. And that would lead me to my next stories, Solana. That's why I said Solana is blowing up. Solana is blowing up. And I have to apologize to everybody right now because I thought that at pump.fun, from the literature that I read just, I want to say 6 weeks ago, it stated that between 10 and 14,000 meme coins are being created every single day on pump.fun. That's a lot. But actually, there's 322,000 new tokens were created on Solana in the last 7 days. Yeah. So 320,000 driven by the meme coin craze. And I was always looking for the data to support this. There's a website I didn't put in the comments. I'll put in the comments later. Analytics.step.finance/performance. And they pretty much track, it looks like NFTs, DeFi, everything pretty much Solana, DeFi and Solana, real-time analytics, sold domains, Stablecoin, sure, I guess. But if you scroll down here, new SPL tokens, excluding NFTs, within the last 24 hours is 57,000. 57,000 new tokens. So if you've heard this narrative, and we talk about this all the time about meme coins, I know some people hate meme coins, and some people realize what they are, gambling. You can't ignore it. You can't fade it away. It's going to be here. It's going to be here this cycle. So if you don't want to get into meme coins, that's cool. You're gambling anyhow. But to take a look at this and not think that Solana is going to run hard in this cycle, I just don't know. I think it'll do well. I think that'll do well. I think Cardano will do well. I think SWI could be the next big thing, and we'll see, and a whole host of other ones. But I don't really care about the fastest horse. It'd be nice. I'm just saying that if you're a big Bitcoin person, maybe just expand your horizon just a little bit to put a small allocation out. And that's the only thing I wanted to tell you, because I can't give you financial advice. So that sounds pretty bullish, Rob. Everything's good. Everything's great. So now it's time to sell my house and my kids and my kidneys and just put it all in the Bitcoin and altcoins and meme coins. No. Let's get into the bad news. So as a reminder, I'm not here to moon boy it up, because I've already been down that route. I need you to be on the ground and relaxed and not get too overzealous. And just remind yourself that the next generation of nonsense is right around the corner, and all this trash or stuff always happens in the bull market. I'm not saying that Polter Finance is trash. I'm just saying that you're going to get a lot of different things about, hey, you can do lending. Hey, you can do loans. Hey, you can make all this money over here by farming. Hey, just lock this up. Hey, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. It's all going to be the same. Polter Finance shuts down after a hack drains nearly all the funds. Sorry, everybody who did this. Here's what happened. Decentralized lending platform Polter Finance, I have never personally heard of this, but sure, suffered a devastating exploit in the Phantom blockchain. Now, I need to preface it with this. It's not the problem with the Phantom blockchain. It was a smart contract that was written. The breach discovered early Sunday involved the manipulation of the platforms, not Phantom, of the platform's token pricing mechanisms, leaving its users in shock. The attack began by funneling funds through Tornado Cash, which is just a big mixer. And these assets were then bridged, transferred from Ethereum to the Phantom network, where the exploit was essentially completed. The hack resulted in losses exceeding 16 million whatever the heck that is, SGD, which is approximately 12 million US dollars. So you're going to see more and more of this, whether that be a real thing, which I have no reason not to believe this actually happened and was an inside job. And you'll also see inside jobs. And you'll also see a bunch of spams and hacks and everything else. So in this game that you're playing, which we're all playing, it's not about how much you make, it is how much you keep. And I need that you to be very crystal clear that when you're doing these things and you're trading and you're in this market, you must make certain that you follow some of the rules. If you don't follow any rule, just follow the second rule underneath me. 100% scams. Everything is a scam until proven otherwise. Everything. Even the stuff that is that's spewing out of my mouth, just assume that I am some kind of AI fake, and you have to verify everything. If you do that, I think you'll be a lot happier. Also, on top of that, America's in trouble. It's usual. I think all these economic reports that we all kind of figured out, like, hey, wait a second. I don't think the economy is doing as great as the Biden-Harris administration said it was doing. This is from the COINBASE letter. It is an industry-leading commentary in the global capital markets. Really great information. Suggest that you just follow them on X. And they state, U.S. serious delinquencies are skyrocketing. The share of U.S. credit card debt that is delinquent 90+ days jumped to 11%. Basically, if you can't pay your credit card debts, you go into delinquency. And after 30 days, then there are penalties. After 60, there are more penalties. After 90, even more so and more so. And then mostly what you're doing is you're paying on the interest and not on the principal, which is a big problem when you have credit card debt and it starts to accumulate like that. Most people know you never want to be late, and especially 90 days late. Anything after that is just awful. And of course, now we have more, 11% more in Q3 2024. This is the 5th consecutive quarter of increases, the longest streak since the 2008 financial crisis, meaning everybody got over-levered and they put too much on debt. And then, of course, everything collapsed. I'm not saying that's going to collapse tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to collapse in a month. I'm just saying that at some point, we're due for a recession. This share even exceeds the 2020 peak and has been rising at a pace only seen during a recession. At the same time, credit card debt hit 1.17 trillion, which was a new record, but not so fast because America likes to break records. This is the old one. U.S. consumer credit debt tops 1 trillion. This was just from November 16th, which was 3 days ago. Credit card debt surges to another record high. New York Fed states. Total credit card debt rose to 1.17 trillion during the third quarter, increased 24 billion. So yeah, that 1.17, the same time of 2020, we just passed that, probably just by a little bit. So we'll see where that all works out. And lastly, not like it really matters, because this is from Ben's white site into the CRYPTOVERSE. Total consumer credit owned and securitized monthly in dollars. This is what this is. Consumer credit owned and securitized refers to the aggregate amount of consumer credit that is held or owned by financial institutions, and also includes any portion that credit that has been securitized. And then what you may notice here is that even during recessions, we don't really slow down too much. We just kind of go sideways for a bit as far as debt, and then we just pick up. And even here in 2001, remember that? It's the dot-com bubble. Well, we still accumulated debt. We did the same thing over here in the Great Recession, where we kind of topped out here and then took what was called the Great Recession. Wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't the greatest. Wasn't like the Great Depression, but we still found a way, even after all this time, to go, you know what? Things are good. Off to the races. And now here we are at the very tippy top. So do I think that, again, that we're here for a recession that's going to happen tomorrow? No. But just be aware that nothing goes up forever. Nothing goes down forever. Well, actually, that's not true. I can't say that things do go down forever. Take a look at Enron. That's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is extremely time sensitive, especially as we start to barrel into what I consider the blow off top bull run. This bull run was cute and it was nice and it was pleasant, but you haven't seen anything yet. I think the big money and the big type of moves happen in 2025, but we'll see.